Oh, look at all this chatting. People have wrenches on their names. Wyatt is hanging tough. Glad to see you're reasonably well after the last time I streamed, which was several weeks ago. I remember you saying that you were having some health issues. Here at the Outpost, it is wool vest season, wool and flannels. It's a beautiful, crisp, cold fall sunset. Bob loves it when I get on this chair, so he's gonna run out here and hop up. Hey, Bob. Snow, I don't really know the patterns around here. This is my third winter coming up, and Bob's sniffing the phone. And the two winters that I've had so far have been very different. The first year I got here, when it was the worst winter in 20 years, everybody says. It was insane. Like the snow came, it was probably right about now. It came about now and just dumped like 3 feet, and it kept coming all the rest of fall and all through the winter. But that was really unusual from what I'm told. The second winter was much milder. I think the snow didn't come till late November, and then it never really got super deep. So who knows what this year will be? Could happen anytime, but I'm not really expecting it yet. I love how everybody has clued into the Bob, our Lord and Savior joke. Does this look like a guy who can save anybody? This is just a roll of jelly is what it is. I'll give you the good camera view of the sunset. We get a little reflected sunset back here. I can't really see the actual point of explosion of the real sunset. I have to go over the side of the hill to see that. Most nights I walk around this time of night. I go on a little stroll to catch the sunset. I go over to the other side of the hill and enjoy a moment. And then I come back to my side for the sunrise. Today, I might still have time to do that. Whole lot of mods in the room today and no targets. Where's the trolls at? I think we have more mods than non-mods here. Last stream I did, anybody who is watching and not chatting, who might have been here, last time I did it, I think it was 2 weeks ago. That was a weird night. I don't know what happened that time. I tapped into like the dark side of the internet, and for some reason, just like really mean people started popping out. Just people dropping in and like just saying mean shit for no reason. Or just really random shit that's just like, hey, pay attention to me. And it was like the first and only time that's happened in the year and a half that I've been doing this channel. Or not a year and a half. It's just over a year now, actually. I started it at the beginning of last October. But so far so good this year. I mean, this night, this stream. That's why I appointed all these mods so somebody could address that. But yeah, so last video I did, I guess that was last weekend. Feels like a long time ago, but yeah, things have gotten a little odd on this channel. For a long time I was doing it like really religiously. I was doing a video at least every other week, sometimes every week, and was really excited about where it was going. And kind of seems like I think I've talked about this a little before, but what happened with the Watson video, the lost cat video, kind of like did some serious damage to my channel. As much as it was cool to see everybody get excited about that particular story, it skewed my demographics in a way that I've confirmed from YouTube itself that that is actually really bad. Turns out it's bad to get a lot of subscribers. Like I'm feel like I'm in the mirror universe here, but turns out if you get a ton of subscribers who subscribe for the wrong reasons, then it just like kills your channel. So things are not very lively when I'm questioning again, you know, just like how much energy I can put into these videos, because it seems like the whole thing's kind of been squashed by that statistical anomaly. I still want to keep doing stuff. Um, I thought about actually like asking people to unsubscribe. I actually wrote up a video to talk about that because I wanted to explain, because I thought it was so interesting. Like, even regardless of what happens to my channel, it was just a fascinating thing to have like a big success happen. It's like the kind of thing that everybody wants on YouTube. Is like, oh, if something went viral, tons of subscribers, tons of attention. But yeah, to find out that that can backfire on you like that. And I talked about it a little bit on Reddit, and I heard a lot of other people had the same experience when they have like something that's a little bit of an outlier that blows up, and then it just wrecks their channel and they can never get anybody to see their videos again. So it's a strange thing that I just found kind of fascinating, and I was like, I'm actually going to be asking people smash that unsubscribe button because I actually it would be great if I could clear out. Basically, I mean, if you're here watching this, you probably aren't one of these people. But there are a vast number of people who subscribed during that whole cat craze, who then like never watched another video after that moment. So that just, it's like dead weight that just sinks you. And I thought like, oh, I would love to like have an honest question to people like, hey, if you're really not into this channel, if you just came to find the end of the Watson story, do me a favor and like release us both. Remove the clutter from your life and move on to things you actually are interested in, because it turns out that it's actually not good for content creators to get, you know, number go up. You need real numbers. So anyway, I'm reading your comment here, Natasha. It's happened to a couple people you know on YouTube. Now they're okay because they got the mods. I don't know if you're. I think you're talking about a different thing there with the trolls. That's a whole different issue. This is a very odd and kind of counterintuitive problem that I'm having, where it's well-meaning people, and but it's just the way that the system works is really backwards and strange. Basically, the whole thing is designed to like funnel people into a very narrow range of interests, and so like it detects that you like something, and then that's all it will show you. And if it detects, like, if I do something that a certain kind of people like, then it only will show it to that people for like a long time. So right now it's only showing my channel to like cat fanatics, which is like, I mean, I'm fairly catty here, but it's not exactly the theme of the channel. I do what I can to showcase our Lord and Savior, who has gone into hunt mode, by the way. He likes to hang out under the trailer here and look for mice. Gamer in the live title? What now? Oh, right. Last time. Yeah. That might have been it. Honestly, could have been as simple as that. I think I said something about in my title last time. I said it was like three things, like something about my book, something else, and video games, and then like magic. Like you said the word, it summons the trolls from the basement realm, and they arrived in force. Strange. I talk to a lot of gamers, There's a lot of gamers on my Discord, my Patreon Discord. I don't know how many people who like games are in this particular forum that I hang out in. It doesn't seem like there'd be a huge crossover between people who are into like this and game fanatics, but I was told there's more of a crossover than you would expect. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Natasha. It's I realized kind of too late that it was a mistake to put a subscription link on any of those cat videos, because with a video like that, when it's like a story with kind of a cliffhanger, it makes people they'll follow just kind of by reflex in order to find out what happens next. And so like I think a ton of people followed after that video just expecting to get more updates on Watson. And once they realize that's not actually what my life is about, they're like, oh, never mind, and just sort of disappear. So yeah, it's a weird statistical anomaly. Yes, the basement realm. Glad you appreciate that, Wyatt. It's funny because when I started my Twitch channel, which by the way, I'm gonna mention this at least once in every stream. I actually have a Twitch channel. I certainly don't have a basement, and I'll show you what I run it off of. In fact, what I'm running this off of, what I run everything off of. My shower, by the way, any newcomers. That there, next to the shit bucket, is my connection to the outside world. I'm not going to walk any closer because it's a briar patch, but there's my Starlink dish. And that enables me to talk to you right now. And it also enables me to play video games with friends, which is kind of my evening unwind session these days. And I did, but what I was saying is, the comedy is that when I started that Twitch channel, I was literally living in my mom's basement during the 6-month period when I was finding this land and developing it, getting water and everything, and couldn't really start living here comfortably anyway. I did try it for a little while, just in a tent, but it was pretty miserable. It's like camping is fun, but camping for like months at a time, the charm wears off pretty quick. So yeah, I moved in with my mom because my dad had just died the year before, and she was having a hard time. And I was like, okay, this is probably the place for me to be for a while. And I was just like trapped in this gray, miserable realm of being kind of in limbo between chapters in my life, and also grieving, and also like just waiting for a bunch of things to happen. So I'm like, this seems like a good time to lose myself in the fantasy realm, and started twitching because I wanted to. What I compare it to most often, like for people who don't understand the appeal of that, it's like when I was a kid, one of the funnest things in the world was to like hang out in the living room and play Nintendo like with your friends. And a lot of the games weren't even multiplayer, but it was just fun to like sit and watch them play. And then you'd take turns and they'd watch you, and it was just sort of interactive and kind of like I don't know if people still do that, honestly. I don't really hear about people just hanging out watching someone else game. They usually, I guess because there's so many multiplayer games now, and that wasn't really that common back then. But I think it's the same idea, even though it's virtual people. Nobody I know in real life watches my Twitch channel, which is probably for the best. But it creates kind of like a little alternate reality. So, all right, I've just been rambling here and missed a bunch of. Somebody asked me something a while ago. Busy chat tonight, guys. You guys are hyped. I can't find it, but somebody asked me about the vest. I think you asked me where I got it. I don't know. Maybe. Actually, don't remember what brand this is. Oh yeah, it's a brand called Best Made. I don't even know if they still exist. I bought this like 8 years ago or something. It must be best made because I've worn it like every winter ever since then, and it's still holding together even though it's fluffy. Not a lot of fleece clothing that's made out of real wool. Usually it'd be some kind of polyester crap. And I really no, it's not a coat. It's for that transitional. I mean, if it were a coat, it'd be hard to get on because it's just like it's just woven wool. So it'd be like hard to get it over your shoulders and arms, I think. Actually not drinking tonight in Wood Arts. I thought about it. Oh, real quick, a rotten pickle asked what was my channel on Twitch. You're probably better off just like going to my link page. I didn't choose the greatest name for relayability, but the channel's name is Turdsworth, like TIRD, not TURD, which is a whole long running joke. It's my idiot alter ego that I've used for a lot of fake accounts. Archie Turdsworth is the full name, but the Twitch channel is just Turdsworth. And I don't know if you search for my name. I don't think it comes up anymore because it used to be Isaac Marion, author, but I changed the handle when I started this up, and I think it just kind of like breaks all those links. I am American, Eduardo. Allergic to wool. That sucks. Oh, I wear wool. Like everything I wear is wool. My socks are wool. Even my underwear are wool. This isn't, but all my underlayers are because it's has so many wonderful properties. Antimicrobial, so it never stinks. It will stink eventually, but it takes a lot longer than cotton, which is good when you don't have a fucking laundry machine. You know what I'm saying? Because I cannot be washing my clothes every single day out here. Oh, the sun just disappeared and it just got so much colder all of a sudden. Also, I love the moisture wicking of it. It never gets clammy like artificial stuff does. Yeah, someone asked what game I'm playing. I've been playing Skyrim for a while. There's a new sort of a DLC. It's technically a mod, but it's called Bard's College expansion, and it's like bardic stuff, which is fun because it's very different than typical, sword slashing kind of gameplay. It's like you do duels of wits and political intrigue and like a lot of talking based stuff, which is kind of my jam. Rosie asks, is this chat therapeutic for me? It kind of is, honestly. I've talked about this before. The fact that, I mean, like, I live in pretty extreme isolation. There is this guy over here, over there. That's my neighbor. And he invites me over for like dinner or something once in a while. But, that's every few weeks maybe. And it's just not like we have a pretty large gap of culture. Like he's quite a bit older than me from a very different background, and like it's not very effortless to connect. I enjoy the company of like people that are different from me, but it's not often. It's different, Like a while ago, an old friend of mine from like my past came out and visited, and I was just amazed at like what a relief it was to like just sit down with someone who speaks the same language as me and be able to just immediately relate and talk and understand each other without having to kind of like stretch past that kind of cultural barrier. So it was just like relaxing, and I have missed that a little. And so anyway, the tangent there, but like I don't have a lot of like regular casual social contact out here. I have to really make an effort to go hang out with people. Usually involves driving a long ways. Like I literally don't, other than my neighbors on this hill, I don't know anybody in this region. It's just like I've have not figured out how to make random friends out here. I talked about this a few times too, but it's like it's a kind of a closed culture, I find. Not a lot of people are reaching out to like, hey, who are you and what's your name and come over and talk to us or anything like that. It just doesn't really happen. Like people have their little cliques and they stay that way. So I've pretty much given up on like trying to, really be part of the community out here because there isn't really one from what I can tell. The communities are just like families and churches. It's actually, I met a guy in the laundromat yesterday. There's a laundromat down in town where I do my laundry, and this old dude, he was probably 70, I'd guess, and he was doing his laundry there, and he was like living really off grid. Like his place doesn't even have power of any kind. He said he goes somewhere else during the dead of winter, but like for most of the year, he's out there just like completely ancient lifestyle. And we were like having a fun chat while I was doing the laundry, and like it was fun to talk to him. But then he just like started pushing the church thing. He was like, well, because I think I mentioned something about like it's hard to like there's nothing to do around here. Where do you meet people? And he was just like, well, there's like 5 churches in town, and this one's like this, and this one is the New Testament and whatever. And I'm like, oh man. It's fixer. It's an idea. It's like the most obvious idea, really. But I'm not a church guy. I used to be. I grew up in that world, and I left it behind when I was about 20, 23 maybe. And I have no connection to it anymore. And it is tempting, I have to say, like the way this guy presented it to me. He was like, oh yeah, it's super friendly place. Lots of people there, lots of gals there for you, lots of young gals. And I was like, oh, I'd love to meet a young gal. It's been so long since I met a young gal or gal of any kind, really. Nothing up here but old men. And, but yeah, I don't. So it was tempting. Like I did think for a second, like, what would it be like to go back to church after all these years with no intention of like doing any religion, just to like for the social aspect, just show up and be like, hey, I'm here to make friends and just socialize. And I know that a lot of people do that. Like I feel like it's not really talked about, but I know that traditionally that was just sort of like the cultural hub for rural communities. And there's nothing wrong with that, I think. But I feel like for me, I would just be really uncomfortable faking it, basically. I remember back in my church days, people would talk about guys like that. Like guys would come to church, just single guys alone, who would show up at church and just like hit on girls. And it was really obvious to everybody why they were there. People would call them like wolves, predators, because they're just looking for meat, they don't have any interest in the Lord or anything. So I thought back on that and I was like, yeah, I can't be that guy. It would be very obvious. So can't do it. It's like the lowest of low-hanging fruit, but I cannot do it. Even if it weren't like for picking up women and just like for socializing, it would be like everybody would be talking church language, and I would be sitting here like, yeah, I definitely did not spend the first 23 years of my life being warped by all this stuff and barely made it out with my sanity. Definitely not triggered by any of the stuff we're talking about here. It would be tough. So not going to do that. Bars are really the only option. Somebody mentioned bars back a little while ago. God, it's fucking cold out now. I'm going inside. Also, check this out. Your Lord and Savior on his throne. No need to come down, bud. I'm just admiring you. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have anything against church people, to be clear. And a lot of people assume that if I left that behind, it means I must have had like a terrible something bad happen to me in the church, and it was like somebody did me wrong or something. But it's really not that. I mean, that did kind of happen to my sisters, um, but it wasn't. It wasn't that. Like nothing. Nobody did anything to me. I just don't believe in it anymore. Basically, is what it comes down to, and I don't appreciate some of the aspects of the philosophy, and so I just respectfully, politely made my exit. So I appreciate that, Fixer. I do kind of believe in prayer in a kind of more mystical, esoteric way. I think there are a lot of grains of truth in Christianity, um, a lot of like ancient concepts that have been carried over throughout the generations, and they take different forms in different cultures. But I think the idea of, well, never mind. I'm not going to get into that. What is Bob doing? Oh, Bob got some kind of thing. Spider? Bob, did you bring a spider into my bed? Okay, there he goes. Yeah, we're gonna have to get rid of that. I have a pretty tolerant stance towards spiders these days. Um, they like to crawl on my ceiling a lot, like jumping spiders. Uh, and I'm pretty much cool with it, honestly. Particularly jumping spiders, because they are sane. They are chill little guys that have brains, and they understand their environment, and they aren't just gonna mess with me out of like blind idiot searching. Some spiders they lack common sense like that, and they've got to go. But I don't kill them anymore. What I do is I suck them up in my little vacuum here, and then I just send them on their way. It'll probably end up right back on my bed again. But as long as I don't know it's there, it's all good. It's the knowing that's the problem. So since Bob alerted me to it, it had to be dealt with. I feel like I never quite finished my thought. The question about, is this therapeutic for me? I got sent off on a wild, long tangent there. But the way I would think about it is it takes the edge off of the solitude. Um, it's just like all the streaming stuff I do, and it's the same with Twitch and really all the sharing in general. Is just kind of like a way to keep one foot in the world, to like sort of stay a little bit human and connected, even though nobody in this chat am I likely to ever meet in real life. But I'm trying to appreciate the virtual space of humanity, because I feel like it's becoming more and more like the actual world. People talk about the online world, and I'm like, you mean the world? Because people don't do anything in the real world anymore. By and large, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but there's definitely a noticeable movement to like virtualize everything. And I definitely have mixed feelings about that. I do try to resist it. But at the same time, in my living situation, it's like, well, I don't think this is a long-term fix for like the tiny but painful hole in my soul. But for now, it's a decent way for me to like keep it together. Bob, why chew? Why you chew on everything? So that's the answer. Yes, it is therapeutic. Rajesh, you're just in time for the end of my like 10-minute explanation of that question. Somebody else asked the same thing a while ago, and I just spooled out a very long answer to it. So fortunately, I cannot repeat myself to that extent. I'm scanning back here to see um, what you were saying about the spider. Bob brought a roommate. Yeah, exactly. Another Ryan Reynolds person. Or is that the same one from last time? Last time somebody popped in here with the Ryan Reynolds comparison, and then a bunch of trolls like jumped on the idea to insult me in various ways. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I saw you exiled somebody. I didn't even see their troll comments. Some like I saw the people talking about the the trolls, but I never saw it happen. Which is for the best, I guess. It's probably a little distracting. Yeah, that's a good summary, future tense. In short, it's to connect with others. That's pretty much it. And I guess like to Rosie's point, people that are interested in you and your way of life. I mean, yes, it is kind of like it's not one way. I mean, you're talking to me right now. You're saying things. I'm responding to them. But I guess live streaming is kind of like it's partly a sharing of content, I guess. Like it's for the same reason I make these YouTube videos. It's like things in life interest me and I want to capture them somehow. It's the same with writing books and with really making any kind of art. It's like there's something out there, whether it's in the real world or like in your imagination or just something that you've connected with, you've encountered, and there's just this weird impulse to like put it in a bottle and show it to somebody. So that's what it's all about, really. There's no real distinction whether it's books, music, live streaming, making YouTube videos. It's all part of that same impulse of like capture a feeling and share it with someone, and then you get to like live in that bottle together, I guess, to stretch the metaphor a bit. That was really like what started me writing back in the day. Was like I had these, worlds, and in that case, literally, because it was like fantasy stuff. So I had stuff in my imagination that I wanted to inhabit with people, and the only way to do that was to like create some art out of it that then they could come into that art. So like now I have these books out there that other people have read, and then like we can talk about them, and it's really gratifying to be like coexisting in that fictional world. Yeah, Wyatt, thanks. My plants are hanging in there. I got my little cactus shelf back there, and then some new additions here. The succulent. This is supposedly a succulent of some kind. It's the most extravagant one I've gotten. And then I've got this just like wretched little guy. It's called something frog, like string of frogs or something. And it's just been in this state of like, I could swear it's dead, but it doesn't ever fully die. Ever since I bought it, it's just been shriveled up like this. And I water it every week, and it just continues to hang on. The leaves don't even fall. It just looks miserable, but it's apparently still alive. Getting cozy, Bobo. I love it when he closes his eyes and slips into purr mode. Oh, we love a good paw cleansing. The shower succulents are, well, actually one of them is hanging in there somehow. It's pretty cold these days, but I just brought another one. This one here was one of the shower succulents, and it was not happy out there. So I probably should try to salvage it. Um, Too much sun. I mean, it's above the it's not getting any direct sun. It's above the blinds. I never opened the blinds high enough for the sun to hit that. It's pretty warm in here. I don't know. Could be. Could be too cold. This is I probably should just ask I showed the plant shop a picture of the spot I was going to put it, and they said that that would work great. And this was like a dedicated plant store that only sold succulent plants. So like you'd think they would know, but I don't know. I'll give it a try. Maybe it'll be happier with less sun. Wait, so one person's saying less sun, the other's saying more sun. This is the internet for you, I swear. Every time I try to look up guidance on any hobby, there's like 5 different completely contradictory instructions. um is it Zhangli or Shang? Xi is a sh sound, right? Shangli. How I get internet here is with Starlink. Got a little dish in the back that I showed everybody a little bit ago. And it works surprisingly well. I'm actually able to live stream without many hitches. Plant needs more both. Oh, more Bob. I see. You know, I don't think the plant needs any Bob, honestly. Badger says moonlight. Yeah, opinions vary. Do I drink coffee or tea? You know, mostly coffee. I love the like ecstatic buzz of coffee. Um, when I do work in the later half of the day, which is rare, usually I kind of check out of the writing zone by 3 or so. Then I switch to tea, and it really anytime after noon or after like 2 maybe. It's a different kind of buzz. I enjoy them both. Different applications. Natasha is squashing trolls. Appreciate it. Yeah, Kaylin mentioned the hashtag just chatting. Is just chatting a thing on YouTube? I know that's a Twitch thing. Okay, Xiang. 2 syllables. Okay. I've seen that name in print a lot, but I've never really heard it spoken aloud. So, Xiang. Got it. I'm sure I still didn't quite nail that, but I'm trying. Are there a lot of trolls tonight that I'm not seeing? I haven't seen anybody. Like I don't understand how you're seeing it and I'm not. Are you like intercepting them somehow? Is there a delay that lets you deal with them before it wounds my fragile psyche? You're like the guards protecting the frail prince. They must not insult me. Keep the insulters away. My poor constitution. If anyone is rude to me, I'll just immediately die. I'm a frail waif. Oh, I did see a glimpse of the Diddy parties thing. I didn't I saw the word Diddy. Really, is all I saw. I did not see what the context was, which maybe it's for the best. Do I vote? I mean, generally, yes. Uh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I've never not voted for president. It sucks every time. I'm not gonna go down that path. I assure you, Badger. Don't worry. But I think we can all agree that it's always shitty. Like it's been a long time since I voted with any kind of positive feelings. It's always been like, fine, which is very much so this time around. And that's as political as it gets for me. Reluctantly participating in the sham of our society. Well, maybe I'll start using that tag on these live streams, because that's certainly all this is. It's just chatting. Xiang asked about internet again. Yeah, it's weird. It does still work when it's cloudy. I don't know how that works. Like even thick, stormy clouds, it somehow the beam penetrates through all that. But it does actually get affected by the weather. Heavy rain and snow can disrupt it. I guess if just like the entire atmosphere is full of stuff, then it gets refracted too much. So it's not horrible, but it definitely changes. You know, I doubt I'll actually do this, but Starlink has a new portable dish that just came out recently. I think it's like handheld size, and I guess I don't know, maybe it runs on batteries. Maybe I don't know how portable it is exactly, but I was tempted. It's probably I don't even know how much it costs. It's probably ludicrous to even consider the thought. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, how cool would it be to take that dish with me, and then I could live stream like out into the wilderness. We could go on treks like off into the wasteland and do like live exploration of this landscape. It kills me to have to be stuck because I can't leave this little compound because once I go out of my Wi-Fi range, I instantly have no signal. The signal is extremely spotty out here, so there's no way for me to wander. I tried it a little bit when I first started streaming, and it was so broken that I gave it up. But yeah, I thought that'd be kind of fun. Like I could put it in a backpack and go on a trip. There's no way I'm sure it's at least like $300 or something, probably more, and probably requires an extra plan. So there's no way I'm really gonna do it. Unless I get super wealthy or something, then I can do extravagant, pointless things like that. That's what runs social media these days is people who have way too much money and free time just like blowing it on the dumbest shit you can imagine. And that's how they get more money. I content like that always kind of like makes me angry. I enjoy it, but it also irritates me at the same time because I'm just like, is that really what you chose to spend it on? Like, I saw this Instagram reel the other day of a guy who was just like casually showing off this chair rotator thing. It was like would move him between different PCs and then like rotate backwards to and lower down to so that he could pick up his drink or something. And this thing was like aerospace grade machined aluminum, like serious engineering. And this guy, I guess he either built it himself or he paid someone probably $50,000 to build it for him, just for like this super stupid joke. Like there's no way the thing would actually even be used. It was like just for the real. And I'm like, that thing cost tens of thousands of dollars, or it took an incredible amount of work, and it's just for the lulz. It hits me wrong somehow. Um, yeah, the affluence is heavy on social media. I'm so tired of seeing rich people on there. I guess it's just those are the people who have the time to indulge in lots of frivolous bullshit on Instagram. But there's times I'm like, can we see some like normal people on here? Like just struggling people who are also funny? Like, why do you have to live in a McMansion in order to be an Instagram star or TikTok or whatever? Like, where are the normal people? Tired of it. Yeah, I mean, if I was rich, I would do so much fun stuff. I would probably do really impractical, frivolous stuff too. But I feel like there's like a tastefulness ratio to it somehow. Like if you're gonna spend a lot of money on something, it needs to be worth it, even if it's kind of impractical. Doing like a massive construction project, like there was that guy. This one was pretty popular. You might have seen this one. Like this guy encased a bag of Cheetos, I think, in like a block of resin, and then he built this like incredibly elaborate sarcophagus using like welded steel and like layers of concrete, and made this like vault sarcophagus to bury this cube of Cheetos like deep underground to be like a time capsule for the distant future. And I'm just like, this is so ridiculous. The amount of effort that goes into this, that it's just like to troll people. I don't know. It's confusing. Oh, so it's bad, Kaylin? It's bad out there? Yeah, and Natasha's saying don't forget to like the live, subscribe if you haven't. But only subscribe if you actually are interested in my videos, please. Because I was just talking earlier about what happens when people like subscribe out of like guilt, or they just feel like it's sort of a reflex, because then they subscribe and they never watch anything again, and then it destroys your positioning in the feed. Hello, Miha from Japan is fascinated by the wilderness life. Yeah, you missed a little bit of it, because it got dark and cold out. But since you're asking, my cat is right here in full loaf mode. He's having a great night. One nice thing about it being cold out now is he spends a lot more time with me, less time out wandering, hunting. It's let's see. Damn, yeah, it's a little under 50 degrees Fahrenheit, but there's a wind chill that I don't know how to account for. Here's my view. I'll go into landscape mode to get the full appreciation of the effect. We're after hours here, so the beauty is somewhat muted. You can see a little trace of the sunset off in the distance. Only over there though, not where it actually set. Funny. There's my archery target cube. This is how I vent my frustration after a writing session. Hello, McCoy from Manila. I want to be in Manila. It's probably a lot less cold there. Yeah, I'm going back in. As you can see from my hair, it's windy out here. And plus Bob is lonely. Tiny house, off-grid life, starring adorable pets. Your username is massive. especially now that you're a moderator. It takes up like 3 lines. Not that I want you to stop talking. I think I will get snow. Actually, it snowed in the mountain passes recently, so it is heading my way. Thank you, Miha. Welcome to the outpost. I hope you find things to enjoy here. Archie Sugar Baby. I think I saw you, unless I don't know if there's a lot of Arshies out there, but I saw your username on some other platform. I can't remember. Are you on my Patreon? I get mixed up of where I've seen who, but is your username a reference to, is it a Homestar Runner reference? It's the only time I've ever heard the word Archie. Was one of the Homestar Runner cartoons back in the early 2000s. Yes, Tiny House Off-Grid Lifestar Adorable Pets. I read your handle in full because it amuses me to not abbreviate that massive handle. Heavy duty scratch proof coats. You know what? I kind of just bought one of those. I just ordered like a super thick waxed canvas jacket that hasn't shown up yet, but it's probably pretty scratch proof. I'm trying to armor up. So far I've reviewed, it started with rubber rain boots, then another company sent me more rubber rain boots and also waterproof socks. And then the first boot company sent me an archery target, because that's also a product they make. I don't know how they even knew that I just happened to have a bow, but I guess they got me pegged. Man, this is quite the international audience here. I feel like there's really no dominant nation in the chat tonight. Oh, so Miha has a cabin too. So you're comparing cabin life, America to Japan? Wait, who's stalking me? I think I missed something. Oh, the boot company. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, it's very odd. Like they send me these products and I make these videos for them, and it's like my videos get no views. Like there's no way it's worth it for them to send me a product that, would cost, I don't know, $50, $80 or something, just for me to like post a video that gets like maybe 1,000 views, and the odds of even one person out of those amount of people actually buying it, it's just like, it doesn't really add up to me, but they must see something I don't. Maybe they use them elsewhere and like it becomes media for them. But I just do it because it's fun. I get a free weird product that I probably would have never bought normally, and then I get to go on a little adventure to test it out and try to make it. It's good. It's a good comedy prompt, I find. Reviewing products is just so inherently ridiculous that I just find a lot of comedy in it, especially really weird products like a foam cube that I shoot with arrows. That one I had a lot of fun with because it's just the most absurd idea. It's a chance to goof off and make very unserious videos. Yeah, the K word. North Korea. Cat Respecter, where are you? I just bought a jacket. I need those tips. I will read it aloud in positive, glowing tones, unless it like actively advocates for human rights violations, then I'll ignore it. But if it's positive, I'll highlight it. Consider raising your tip from $9.99 to $10. Then you'll get really nice treatment from the channel. Give me those like solid even 4 digits. Context for anybody who hasn't been in here every time. Every time I stream this, there's a person who pops up and drops little propaganda bombs from North Korea that are just like no context comments saying, you know, how we misunderstood Korea and how great it is. And then they give me a little $9.99 tip, and sometimes 2. So it's been kind of a running joke, but also I'm like, hey, thank you. You know, that's a meal. Well, no, $10 stopped being a meal a long time ago. It's a homemade meal. That's probably fair. I wish that there was like an indicator on this chat when I'm scrolling, like it would flash a little light or something, because I feel like I just glaze over and go dead-eyed, and you can't tell that I'm reading. How much did I get from those tips? Well, I think they've shown up like 4 times. Oh, how much do I get from that? I don't know, honestly. I know that YouTube takes a cut. It'll show me my revenue, which is these days like almost entirely from that same Watson cat video. And then, but how much of that I actually get, I'm not sure. It'll send me like a email saying a payout has happened, but it doesn't say how much it is, and I'm just too lazy to go check my bank account because it's usually not a very significant number, and I'm like, oh, it's a bonus, it's a tip. J-Dog, I've wondered about that, honestly. Like, obviously, there's nothing I can. It's not my fault. I'm not causing it to happen. But like, what is there any like legal issue if an enemy nation? We're not like technically enemies with them. I don't think we really have any enemy nations right now. But like, say we were at war. What if we were at war with North Korea, and they were still like dropping propaganda into my YouTube feed? It wouldn't be my fault. I can't stop it. That would be kind of strange to be getting paid by an enemy power. It's got to be from their government. I mean, like, why else would they be doing it? It's literally like just in praise of their government. Yeah, McCoy, that was kind of one of the reasons I wanted to do this stream tonight, because I don't really have anything exciting to report other than I almost forgot. For those of you who are interested in my books, I got very positive feedback from my agent about my novel, The Overnoise, yesterday. He is just finishing up reading it, and he called me, and apparently all the work that I did over the last few weeks, which I did a video about stepping away from the YouTube channel for a while to finish that. I did a major revision of this novel that took about 2 or 3 weeks. It was more like a month. And I felt really good about it. I was like really excited and glowing and thought like, I think I finally cracked this thing. But it's like, it's just me. Of course, I'm biased. I'm like, I won't get too excited until I hear back from somebody. And of course, my agent is like the most harsh, is the hardest audience, um, the most critical. That's his job, is to criticize it and to find things that are wrong with it. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm, being too nice to myself, I'm imagining this or not. And he called me yesterday and he was just like raving about it. He said what I'd done was fucking transformative, which is exactly what I felt. I was like, I think I did a lot of good for the book on this pass. And it was just like such a relief, because this is like the moment of truth. We're trying to send it out to publishers before winter hits. And he has been like kind of not that enthusiastic the last couple drafts, and this was the first time probably since like the beginning of this whole thing, since like the Warm Bodies days, that I heard him really like crackling with excitement when he talked to me. So I was like, hell yeah, I finally got there. So that's really good news for me, because that means that he's still going to have, a few notes to give back to me. But it's like he said, it's really light stuff. It's just like words here and there, lines to think about, and nothing fundamental, which was what I was afraid of, is he was going to read it and be like, you just not quite there yet. Like, you've got to figure out some way to make this happen. And then I would just have spiraled into a depression, because I was like, fuck, I've done this so many times now. If that wasn't it, I don't know what would be. And he said it was it. So we're off to the races. He said he's going to send me his notes no later than Monday. And then I'll have this coming week set aside to finish all those edits. And then back to the battle. Send it out there and make something happen. When you can buy the book, Archie, publishing is really slow. I know it's probably so annoying to be like hyping this far in advance, but that's just like more of sharing the process. I'm not really promoting anything yet, because it's just it's not like it's kind of like when they announce a video game like Elder Scrolls 6, they announce that they're working on it like 10 years before it's actually going to come out. That's kind of what I've done with this book. Also, thank you, Tiny House Off-Grid Living. No, Tiny House Off-Grid Life, starring adorable pets. Thank you very much for the super chat, or whatever they call those. It sent me a little animated like creature that's waving pom-poms. Huh. There used to be a thing you could do on super chats, like to interact with them, but I guess they took that away. But thank you. I also see that a few people have deleted a few more bad messages. I'm gonna look at this one, because there's an option to view the deleted message. Tell me, Tiny House, if I view this message, is it gonna ruin my night? How bad was it? How personal is it? If it's just like unhinged mayhem, I'm just kind of curious what type of content you guys are banning. Political comment? Okay, I'm gonna take a look. Trump 24, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's worth banning. I think generally it's like, it's not just offensive comments that should be banned. It's just like random bullshit that is totally off topic, that is just spam, basically. I don't like spam. That's what was happening a lot too the last time I did this. People just kept popping in and they would just start, rattling off nonsense that had nothing to do with anything we were talking about or anything I was showing. And I'm just like, you're probably 12 years old, I guess. I have a little grace for that. But it's like when, kid just bursts into the room and be like, I like trucks. Okay, cool. Like, we were trying to have a conversation here. One that was just a homophobe with bad grammar. Well, only thing worse than a homophobe is one with bad grammar. So, good banning. Yeah, McCoy asked about Patreon only audience reading. I've been, I think I may have reached a point where I might be ready to show a teaser. It's tough to tease novels because you really can only show like the first chapter because anything taken from the middle of it is just meaningless. It's like, well, I guess you can read it and get a sense of like the tone, but it's either a spoiler or it's just gibberish because you don't know who these people are, you don't know what's going on. So I feel like you only get one really good share, which is the first chapter or the first scene or whatever. And I hesitate to release that because then it's like, well, now I have nothing left to show off when it's actually time to promote the book. Oh, a bunch of people going goodnight now. So say goodnight to all you, Kaylin, Natasha, everybody. Don't worry, you left enough troopers in the house. Oh, never mind. You're not leaving. You're saying goodnight to somebody. Everybody has their own band style. Honestly, like I'm not too worried about it. Like if it's even in question, that person's probably not contributing positively to the discourse. So unless it's like somebody who's been talking for a while normally and then they say one slightly off color thing, I don't want to like immediately exile everybody who says anything, questionable. But if that's all they're doing, then definitely ban them. Oh, and Rosie too. I almost missed this. Rosie gave me a little tip. Thank you for that. Rosie Alaniz. I should probably stop trying to pronounce people's names. Yeah, well, I didn't really plan on this being a long one, considering that I'm not even drinking. Which, by the way, why did I do that tradition for a while? This is actually the first time I've streamed sober. I guess just because it has to be worth it. I have to be planning to take the day off tomorrow because I always feel groggy even with just one drink. So I don't think most of you care, but there is something kind of fun about like partying, like raise a glass with somebody from far across the world. I certainly enjoy it. For when I was doing that, it was kind of my excuse to have a drink. But yeah, as Badger says, tonight I am planning to finish the big quest line that I've been working on in Skyrim. I've this Bard's expansion mod that I'm doing. I've been putting off the final quest for this whole week because I just decided I'd wait till like the day that the most people are able to show up. And tonight's the night. So if anybody's curious what Twitch is all about, I'll tell you a little bit like what I enjoy about like last night, for example, last several nights, Skyrim, games like that are kind of like open world sandbox games where you can do a little bit of anything. They're the way they're designed, like they kind of like give you the materials to create your own stories, and they don't often have a lot of depth of their own, which is maybe by design. I don't know. They're often accused of being shallow, but I think they're the way that they make all the moving parts so malleable. It creates these just really unpredictable situations that can develop, and it's kind of it feels a little bit like writing. It's like a combination of writing fiction and just living, where you get into situations and unexpected things happen, and then you're like, oh, it would be cool for the story, if this happened. Although sometimes it's completely out of my control. Like the last couple nights, um, it's just like the interactions between elements in the game lead to weird situations that you can never see coming, and sometimes it's just hilarious. Sometimes it's so chaotic, and it's like watching, a heist collapse in real time, and just things are going wrong left and right, and you're running and screaming, and it's really funny. And I really enjoy streaming that kind of stuff because it's like if I'm playing solo and that kind of thing happens, I need to tell somebody about it, but you can't like call your buddy up the next day and be like, dude, guess what happened to me in Skyrim last night? Because it's like trying to describe your dream or something. They're like, that didn't happen, bro. It's not real. I don't care. But if you're watching it, it becomes real. And it's fun to be able to share those moments because things will happen like you'd never believe it if you didn't see it. Yeah, I mean, Oblivion is infamous for that, Wyatt. Like the just hilarious things that can happen because of just the weird interactions of parts of the game mechanics. Uh, Skyrim has a lot of that too, though it's not quite as like overtly cartoonish as Oblivion was, but it can get pretty cartoonish as well. Franca comes home tipsy. Yeah, so I'll be your sobering up buddy tonight, Franca. I know you all want me to drink so that I make a fool of myself and let industry secrets slip out, which I've probably done a few times and didn't even know it. I've never really gotten like so drunk on this stream that I lose all of my judgment, but you inevitably get a little bit looser after a couple drinks. So I've probably said a few things that I might have held back if I were sober. So you well, it's still there for review if you want to. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna go take my little evening walk before the last bit of daylight disappears. See if we can go say goodbye to Bob. In fact, maybe I'll start my walk while I'm still with you and see what happens to the stream. See how far we can get out there, because I'm already all dressed up. Bobo. Okay, this is how we'll end it. I'm just gonna walk off into the night, and when the stream dies, the stream dies. My little trail that I'm building here, or I built last year, and I'm trying to restore it. It's overgrown a bit. The phone isn't capturing the greatest image in this low. The way I'm sitting on in the starting soon sequence. Favorite boulder. Okay, I'm off my Wi-Fi now. I still have pretty strong signal. This will be an interesting test. The pixel dimension. I thought I would be. Yeah, my bars are dropping. Probably die soon. Very scary Halloween spooky environment here. Ooh, look at that. There's home sweet home. Yeah. It's funny because it says that I'm on 5G ultra, whatever, ultra connection, but I know it lies. Yeah, I'm out here pretty far, actually. It might not actually die, to be honest. It might just get really ugly. I remember I did actually get pretty far out one time. I got way up into that field. But I think I might have been on a different network when that happened. That was my first year out here. Well, okay, I'm gonna try to get to that field and see if the connection survives that far. And if it does, I'll just wrap it up anyway. Somebody warned me last time I streamed that I should be careful what I show on here because people can find me and kill me. Dox me or whatever. And I'm aware of that. But I also just kind of feel like I'm not going to show my actual address. I'm not going to show you my cross streets. But we live in an era where there's guys who can look at a picture of a single tree and somehow extrapolate which park the tree is in, which corner of the park, in what city, what state, find an exact location. Like, I saw the guy do that. You know the meme of the guy in the yellow suit, like rubbing his hands together, hiding behind the tree. This guy took that photo and located the exact tree where it was taken just by following this like elaborate trail of clues. So like you can't hide anymore is what I'm saying. If somebody wants to kill me, I'm out here. I'm out here wandering out alone at night. I'm an easy target. Yeah, exactly, Badger. GeoGuessers. I think they were referring to a video where I showed a cross street. It was when I was on a drive, but it was pretty far away from my cross street, so I wasn't too worried about it. Well, maybe this works better than I thought. Maybe I can take you guys on a journey. It'll just be a somewhat pixely journey. I mean, right now it's going to be pixely even just from the video itself because it's so dark. But yeah, if the signal is okay, we'll give it a try sometime. But that being the case, I'm not going to walk until it dies because it might never die. I would love to hang out with you all to the end of time, but also my arm's getting kind of sore holding this phone up. So it is time for me to wrap it up and to move on to another streaming platform. I do feel kind of ridiculous doing 2 live streams in one night, but different scenes, different folks. I'll give myself a little break and then hop on over to Twitch to complete my Bard quest. So if anybody's curious about that, again, my username is Turdsworth, TIRD, or you can just find my link tree on any of my platform profiles, and there's a Twitch link to it. Also my website. Yeah, so maybe I'll see some of you there. If not, I'll probably do another live stream. You know, probably pop in here every weekend when I don't have a video in store, because I don't have any plans for videos for a while. I don't have anything lined up anyway. Uh-oh. I've been followed. Bobo, what are you doing out here? He's all puffed up. Look at his tail. He does this. He follows me out here, but he's like so spooked. Look at that. Look at that whip. Come on, bud. Let's go home. There he goes. He is pretty fun. He's very dog-like. He wants to go on walks with me, and he does to some extent, but thankfully he has a perimeter limit. He won't really go any farther than this spot right here, which is still a little too far for my liking. But he'll wait for me, and then once I turn around, he'll come back. Zoom. He always likes to jump up this tree, and then he'll come down. Sometimes he lingers behind to chase the birds up there. But I think we're done tonight. It's too cold for shenanigans. That would be fun, King. Long swipe. No pay. Kind of need a paved road for that. Bobo, come on. There's nothing that brings me quite so much joy as when Bob will actually heel. Like when I come back down the driveway here, he'll walk right by my side and just kind of keep pace with me. If you watch my most recent YouTube video, at the very end, I have a shot of going down this driveway, following Bob behind him. And I stop at one moment to look up at the moon, and he hears me stop, and he turns around and looks at me like, "What are you doing, man?" And then as soon as I start walking again, he resumes. Yeah, it's so dark, it's not picking up the image anymore, so go back to me. Yeah, I'm glad that he spooks when he's out here, because I want him to be afraid if he's that far from home. I don't want him getting cocky and thinking he's tough, because it's not entirely safe for him out here. I feel like we have reached a decent compromise of safety, where I have that tracker collar on him. I lock him inside after dark every night, so the worst of the threats are contained, but it's still, it's the wilderness, and there's a lot of things that could happen, and I've made peace with that, decided that it's the only humane course. Boom, there he goes. Just blasted past me. So he's living, his most glorious possible life. Every day is just pure animal ecstasy for him. He does everything that a cat ever dreams of doing. All his instincts are fulfilled. And there's some possibility that at some point something will happen to him. And every day I hope that it's not today. But there's just no way that he can be, locked in my tiny little shed for his entire life. That would be straight up cruel. So we have this compromise, and it seems to be working pretty well. He seems to understand the dynamic. He has a territory where he's comfortable and confident, and then when he goes beyond that, he goes on high alert. He'll always find the nearest tree and go running up it. And we're back. Home sweet home. So much for shaking you guys off with a hike. We're still here. I'm gonna go for real. I am, but I just want to scan this real quick to make sure I didn't miss anything absolutely fascinating. King Long really wants me to harness the cat as a bobsled, as a dog sled. Not sure that's practical. Okay, Bob, we'll wrap it up. Bobsled, yes. I didn't even mean to say that. Nice catch. Okay. Good night, guys, and I hope to see some of you on the other live stream. If I don't blow my voice out tonight. Let's go go kill dragons with flutes. That's what's on the menu tonight.